back in 2003, the Lord started to speak to our hearts, my wife and I, and through His guidance, and some of you know the story, some don't, but we have been praying for a couple of years on what God wanted to do with us and where He wanted us to go. We were pastoring at another church. We were under our pastor that I grew up with, and we were the outreach pastor. Now, the outreach pastor, sometimes on the staff, you do all the other things that the other pastors don't want to do. But yet, it turned out to great training for me. It was great training because my job at first is, okay, well, you're the outreach pastor. We don't know what we're going to do with you yet, but one thing we definitely want you to do is every Monday, you got to clean the church. It's like, okay. Build character builder, so I would, go out there and clean the church, and they let me know when it wasn't clean to the right specifications. Sometimes I have to go back and do it again or whatever, but it built character within us. Then we thought, okay, we're going to get our big break. We're going to get on stage, and we were, working with the church and stuff, and the pastor, he said, hey, we want to meet with you guys. We want to talk to you guys about some new things we want you to do within the church. So I was excited. So I see, watch. He said, I'm going to get my chance, man. I'm going to get to preach. I'm going to get to do what I've always wanted to do. And they said, well, what we wanted you to do, and before they could say, I was like, you want me to pass, you want me to speak? Because I'm ready. I've been waiting. I'm ready to go. They said, we do want you to speak. We want you to speak to the 2- and 3-year-old class. I'm thinking like, okay, one time? They said, no, you guys are going to take the class over. You can have the class. So we humbled ourselves. And, it was crazy because God opened up some doors and He showed things. We would study, remember why? We would study for hours to teach those kids. We would have like sermons, we'd have illustrations, and we loved the kids. And just a few short years later, we finally got our call and said, hey, we want you to speak in front of everybody on a Friday night at church. I was like, man, so you guys sure you want? Is this really going to happen? You guys don't have 2-year-olds? Like, no, we want you to speak to the people. And I was so nervous that day, man. I was shaking. I was, trying. Sometimes you can over-prepare for something. I was an over-preparer. I went and we got a shirt. And back then, our budget was pretty small. So we got a little brand new shirt. And I remember I got it. I said, okay, well, I'm going to iron my shirt. I'm going to make sure that I look right. And I remember the first adverse, I go to iron my shirt, I burn a hole through it. So I was like, okay, I guess I got to wear one of my old shirts. But, God, He saw to it that night when we spoke, that there were people that came up to us and said, you know what, one day, God is going to do some big things. One day, you're going to be able to have everything that you set forth to do. And it was a beautiful thing. And I just, I'll fast forward you to 2003. 2003, we were pastors at a church out on 47th Avenue in McDowell, New Destiny Church. And that church was cool because I cut my teeth there. That was the first place anybody ever put pastor in front of my name. But we had some people that were really strong in the Lord. And they would come and they would pray with me, pray for me, and I would pray with them. And they always gave me the encouragement, hey, one day God is going to bless you to be able to have your own church one day. And I was, all right, well, praise God. And in 2000, like I said, 2003, I got to speak there. They gave me a full-time gig. They said, hey, what we want you to do is you're not the Sunday morning pastor, but you're going to be the Wednesday night pastor. I was like, all right, right on. I said, so it's mine? They said, yeah, you go up there, you preach the word, invite people, and we had a great time on those Wednesday nights. On those Wednesday nights, there were people that came and supported me. There were people that came and listened, and their encouragement has helped me to be calm, collected, and to know what my call to God was. At those times, I say that that I could name the people who were there. Of course, my 2 sons, Brandon and Martell. When we started all this up, they were like 8 and 9 years old. But I look at like that they've been with us through everything. They're grown adults now. But I'm really grateful that I have two really good sons that are a support to the ministry. They've always helped out. They've always, if you've seen me and Pastor Kathy here, you've seen our sons here, that they've sacrificed a lot of their life. They sacrificed a lot of their childhood to be here within the church. And I look at like that they were always there with me. My wife, Pastor Kathy, always there with me. I always knew it was a little unfair. She would say amen to whatever I would say, but she was the one that put the courage in me to keep going. And then I can't forget about, my mother was there from the beginning. With Sister Joe and Sister Yvonne, as far as my ministry, they were going to another church. I was like, why y'all don't come to my church? I was a little jealous, but they came out and they supported me on Wednesday nights, and they even brought people to come out. And I was like, hey, my son is going to be up there. You got to hear him, whatever. And then, and I look at like another strong support was Sister Anna. Sister Anna was going to another church, and I told her, I was like, well, Sister Anna, they gave me the Wednesday nights. I'm going to speak. So she's like, hey, I'll be there. I want to come and hear you. I'll come out there and support you. So that's where it started. It wasn't, no one, I put it this way, that if you're going through hard battles and a hard path, you ain't going to see another pastor that went through a tougher road than what we went through. We went through a real tough road. And there was times when, when we were there at that church and we were speaking, and people didn't know, but our finances were in such bad shape. We were going through so much, and we were barely, it's like this, man. We would have to sometimes get change from our couch just to be able to put gas in the car to go down there and to minister the gospel. We were never, as pastors, as associate pastors, or as head pastors, lead pastors, we've never been paid for our service. So when we've done this, we've always looked at like, God, if you're going to make it work, it's going to work. And sometimes, when we went through that difficult time, finances were all messed up. We had one car, and at that time, we had that one car, and we went out that Sunday. We went to Sunday service. We went out after Sunday service, tried to start the car up, and it would not work. I had a brother in the church. He took a look at it. He said, Pastor, I think it's your transmission. So that transmission gonna cost you about $1,500. I was like, well, hey, look, I was having a tough time paying utility bills, so we didn't have that. But the church was so kind to us. Our church, we had a church van that said, hey, you guys just take this home, you drive it, and drive it as long as you need to, because we know that you guys are about the work of the Lord. Well, no sooner than the next day, we had a couple in the church that called us up and said, hey, we noticed your car is still in the parking lot at church. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, what's wrong with it? I said, they told me it was the transmission. So she was like, she said, you know what? God told us to just give you a car, if that's okay with you. I'm like, if that's okay with me, that sounds like, if it's free, it's for me. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like a real good idea. I said, it's a car rush. Like, it's a beautiful car. It runs. She said, it belonged to a senior citizen that went into a senior center, and we just want you to have it. Blessings of the people of God. Amen. See, the thing we cannot take for granted is the people that are around us are a blessing within our lives. So, fast forward to 2004, September 4th, 2004. We had everything in place, but we didn't have no money. We didn't have nothing we said, we want to go out, we want to start a church. And our pastor said, okay, cool, well, where do you want to start it at? The first thing that came to my mind was Tucson. I said, I just want to go to Tucson because I don't want to take anybody from the local church. We want to go out and do our own thing. We want to go out there. We want to reach the people of the streets. We want to go out there and just turn Tucson on fire for the Lord. And we went out there a couple of times. And I talked to people. And I tried to make inroads to what we thought was going to work. And it didn't work. It's just like we go out there and speak to people. I tried out for a church. And I tried out for this church. And they were like, yeah, well, we want to hire you guys. And then they started talking about the current pastor. It just gave me red flags. Like, yeah, because our current pastor, he's not young like you. You're very young. And we want a young pastor. And I was like, okay. And they said, and then our pastor, he's very lazy. And they started pointing to all these. I'm like, and Lord showed me that's not the place for you, because they're thinking you're young right now and they think you're handsome now, but you just wait a couple years, they're going to be saying the same stuff about you. So Lord, close that door. And then we went up there again, even with the closed door. We had to borrow a truck to go up there. We're driving up there, drove up I-10. The shaft of the vehicle, it snapped in half. So some of y'all that are mechanic people, you can't go nowhere once that dude breaks. You ain't going nowhere. So we're on the side of the road. And I was sitting there, I said, well, Lord, why does all this stuff keep happening? And you know we want to go out here for your purpose, for your will. And the Lord just spoke clearly to me. It's like, because that's not the place. Lord said, I got a place for you in the city of Phoenix. So I was thinking, Lord, Phoenix, Paradise Valley, Scott. So I'm like, hey, maybe this is just maybe I'm gonna hit the jackpot. It's like, Lord. So we come back right down to where we were coming from Tucson. And the Lord put on our spirit to just pull over. It was on the freeway, took 32nd Street. I hit the block, Van Buren Street. In Van Buren Street, there was everything that you guys see to this day was here, but a lot of it was a lot worse. So what touched me in my wife's heart is that was the time when kids were going back to school at that time. And we went into the Circle K here on 32nd Street in Van Buren. We walked in there, and there was a bunch of kids, had been like 7 kids that were in the Circle K. And we spoke to them, hey, how you guys doing? They're like, oh, that's good, and I was just, small talk. And we're getting drinks, and we noticed that these kids were asking the clerk if they had office supplies. And she's like, well, we have a few things. I said, hey, what are you over here for office supplies for? And they're like, well, because school starts tomorrow. I said, oh, school starts for y'all tomorrow? I said, yeah, school starts tomorrow, and we needed to come and get some school supplies. And there was something that didn't sit well with me with that. I said, these kids are going to Circle K for school supplies. Me and my wife, we sat there, we got our drink, and we walked out to the car. And I said, you know what? I think the Lord has shown us our place. Like here? I was like, yeah, here. I said, I think that it could be dope if we just got together and we were able to do something for all of these kids out here to be able to have school supplies. What do you say? And my wife was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm with that. It's like, well, all right, so this is the place we're going to do it. It's like, this is the place. We'll see, find out where we can go to have a church. Another obstacle, brick wall. It's like, where do we have a church at out here? Everybody was saying no to us. I tried to share a building with another pastor. I was like, hey, you can have it at 11, we can have it at 12:30, and man, we could have this thing bumping if we just come together. And he looked at me and said, yeah, man, I don't, you got to do it this, and I don't. So, closed door. Another closed door happened when we went to the school. I said, hey, we want to start a church in this area, and we want to be able to take care of all the people within our community. And the school said, well, you could do it, but we need a $1,000 deposit. So I was like, no. I said, maybe this ain't the right place. But what we did, we went to the Super 8 Motel. Super 8 Motel is out of business today. We're still in business. Super 8 is out of business. Catch that. So we were up there, and I talked to him. I said, yeah, man, I need to see, you have a conference room or something to where I could bring some people in here to have a little church service. And he said, well, yeah, we do, but it's a small room. I was like, well, we only got a handful of people, so a small room would do. He said, well, and it's upstairs. It's like, okay. I said, well, how much will it cost? He said, I'll give it to you for $250 a Sunday. I was like, do I have to pay any deposit? He's like, no, you just have to pay the first week. Stamp. That's where Streets of Destiny took off, right? That day, I mentioned a couple people so far, but one of the people that was there was Cynthia. Cynthia was there, and she came with Sister Anna that day. And that day, I was the music pastor. I took up the offering. I greeted you at the door. We did everything. So she said, hey, well, are you going to keep doing the worship? And the look that she had on her face was not a good one. I was like, well, I'm just trying my best, sister. I I don't, I said, I don't have, I said, do you know somebody that could do it? She's like, yeah, I could. I was like, I said, are you a worship pastor? Like, well, I could, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, I could do anything. I said, well, I like her. I said, yeah, we gonna use you. And she came in ever since that. She worked with us for years. And it started there. So I want to say that this was a small idea. We just wanted to be able to help the people. We just wanted to be able to do something to fight the problem of poverty, the problem of hunger, the problem of homelessness, and the problem of people not knowing God first and foremost. So we started in the hotel. So the hotel, that lasted a couple months until I got a little reminder from the manager of the hotel. He told me, he said, hey, he called me young man. He said, hey, young man, I want to talk to you a little bit because, your church is having those meetings and stuff here, but I do have a problem. Like, a lot of the people that you're inviting to your service, they're coming with these push carts. And there's push carts all in front of my hotel. You guys can't have that. And some of the people that are coming in, they're kind of scaring our hotel guests. I'm thinking, that is super neat. Why would you? So I listened to him and said, well, because if you can't, change that around, you can't have service here. It's the next option. It's like, okay, I have to part ways with the people who need the church the most. Or if I get what they consider regular people, then we can stay. Y'all know what happened. That was the last Sunday that we met in there. I said, because if they can't come, then why you want to take my money for them? They're just as much a part of the church as anybody else is part of the church. And one of the things I said, well, why, well, it's just, we would like it, but, it's just all those people. So I said, okay. So we got acceptance over at the school. The school let us in. We started to meet there. Wilson Elementary, right down the street. We had services there. We had a lot of good things to put on over at Wilson Elementary. There's some of the people I see that they're grown adults today, but they were kids at Wilson. Domi was a child at that church. She was her and her late brother, Jacob Chavez, one of our first youth of the church. And I just think back to those times when things would seem like we were walking through 10 foot of sand, that no one wanted to help us out, no one wanted to give us a break, but God kept on opening up the doors. So fast forward a little bit. To be exact, 3 months. Now look at everything's happening very fast for our church. Because these were when we started the church, there were people that told me, like, you got a good idea, but why do you want to be on Van Buren? Don't you know there's all type of drugs out there? There's all type of prostitution out there. Man, the people are going to chew you up and spit you out. It's like, hey, I'm up for a challenge. Man. Where they at? I said, let's get it. Whoever it is, well, let's do it. Let's get it. So this building that you're sitting in here today, the first situation they told me, said, well, you guys, I saw this building, and I saw something different with it. Some people, I know they probably saw it as a tire shop. Some people saw it as the Circle K of what it used to be. But I saw it as a perfect church. So what I did is I come by and I was scoping out. I took the number down from the real estate agent, and at that time I was a licensed agent. So I was like, hey man, maybe we can slide in here and business person to business person, we can have a discussion. So I called the guy up here. I'll never forget his name. His name was Ian. And Ian walked me in the door, and I saw him like looking like I had an old car back then. And it's like, he said, so all right, so you want to have a church here? I said, yes, I'd like to have a church here. We walked in the door. He's like, well, I guess it could be a church or whatever. He said, but the thing I'm interested to know is how many people do you have in your church? It's like, so, well, right now, and I was counting babies and everything. I was like, we have about 12. I might have been fabricating that. So I was like, we got 12. He's like, 12 people? He said, man, this is a 5,000 square foot building. They said, are the people rich or something? Because you know, we want $4,000 a month for this building. And it like my heart. So I'm like, all right, but you know what? I said, maybe we could work something out. He's like, well, you got to work $4,000 a month out if you want to be in here. So we got almost to this door, and Duke, my guy Ian, he turned around. He's like, yeah. He said, come on out. So he said, I can't be wasting my time. How much do you have to pay? I was like, well, I was thinking maybe. I said, we got like $1,000 a month. He's like, no, I don't know. I can't even waste time with this. And he walked me out, and that day, I cried like a baby out here. Because, you know, all in my mind, I wanted it to be like, man, this guy is discriminating. This guy is, you know, he ain't right. But I just knew that if God was going to do something big, he had to break down doors that I could never break down. So I said, all right, man. I said, but I said, well, I'll call you if we get, and he just kind of like, in the middle of my talking to him, he got in his car, slammed his door, and he was gone. So I had to tell the church. I said, well, they didn't take me serious, but I thought it was a nice building. So we go down to 16th Street in Van Buren. Some of y'all don't remember this, but 16th Street in Van Buren. I saw a little tiny building that was there. It was like 1,500 square feet, but it was right next to an adult bookstore. But you know, but check it out though. I'm like, hey, but maybe we could win the people going in there into the double. This could really turn out to be something good. And we could, you know, when we went in there, we could hear the videos and stuff through the ones. So listen, that didn't stop me now. Look, I'm crazy. I told our little group, I said, look, we're going to come up there and we're going to pray around this thing, and God is going to give us favor because we want to be on Van Buren. So we got in there, man, and people was looking at me like I had lost my mind. They're like, you going to have me? We can't have no church in here. And I said, you know, guys, we have to get it. We have to start somewhere. It's like, hey, you know, it's a small beginning. Hey, trust me, it won't be that. We'll paint it. We'll do. They weren't feeling it. But here's the thing. Despite them not feeling it, I said, well, God, if you want me here, even if the whole church says we can't do it, I'm just going to go with it. And at that time, my wife was even against it. She was like, I said, Martell, that is not a good look. I just don't think. I believe what you're saying, but next to an adult, Wilson, look at all the men, the creepy men that go in. I said, well, but maybe we can. They're souls too, so I'm just trying to say anything to convince her. I couldn't get it through. So I went and I was just like, well, I don't care if none of y'all are with me. I'm going to go and I'm going to give the deposit to the man because I think somebody's going to take this building. So I give him the $1,500. That was everything we had as a church. So I give it all. And I told him, okay, we'll come in here and we'll do it. I had a brother who said, you know what, Pastor, I think you should really pray about this because I just don't think that this is the right spot. I prayed about it, and the brother was right. I said, well, when you come, I told him, well, Brother Mitch, will you come back up here with me to go get the money back? And he said, yeah. He said, but Pastor, those people are kind of rough. I don't think they're going to give your money back. I said, well, it's the Lord's money. I said, if they don't give it back to us, they don't give it back to us. So make a long story short, they gave it back to us. They were just like, here, that's okay. No harm, no foul. And we kept praying, and I kept seeing this building. So I got the courage up. 3 months later, I called Mr. Ian one more time. And I'm trying to disguise my voice. I tried to star 6-7 to call him. I was like, yeah, yes, I want to take a look at your building at 3444 East Van Buren. He's like, oh. I said, well, yeah, you come on in there. So I'll meet you down there at 4 o'clock. I get here at 3, so I'm just like, all right, God, I know something's going to happen. I'm feeling something. I'm feeling it in my spirit. And when I ran into the guy, he was like, yeah, come on. He said, you're the guy that I talked to a couple of months ago, aren't you, Martell? I was like, yeah. He said, so have you gotten any more people in your church? I said, yes. We have more people in the church. He said, have you gotten any more money? I said, I'm working on it. But yes. I said, yes. I said, yes. So he took me through it. He showed me the building this time. And he was just like, he said, man, he said, I know you're pretty persistent about this building. He said, I just don't think it's going to work. And he told me, he said, you know, the owner of this building is very, very cheap. He's not going to budge anything on the price or whatever, but the Lord had me to draw up a contract the night before. I drew up this contract and said, you know what? they're either going to take it or leave it. I wrote up the contract, and he said, man, you're not going to believe this. Are you sitting down? I said, just tell me what you're talking about. He said, the guy is going to take your offer on this building. So I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I could have fainted because who would have thought? Who would have thought to give us a chance? But this guy's like, hey, he's going to give you a chance. But what he says is he needs the security deposit and your first and last month's rent within 30 days. I was like, so was he going to give us the keys? He said, yeah, he's going to give you the keys and everything. So I was like, all right, give me the paperwork, I'm going to sign it. So I signed everything up. It's like, yeah, okay, we got it. He's like, we got it, here's your key. So I got it, and I was just like, probably where this middle section is, man. I cried because it was so much a dream. Like, have you ever wanted something so bad, like you wanted it, and you think that this could really change things up. I said, this could really change this neighborhood up. This could really be the difference of life and death to the people of this community. So we got in, and all the people of the church, you know what happened? Everybody's attitude changed. Once they got in here, they started to be able to see it. They're like, yeah, I can see this. I can see why. And I was like, and the building was empty. And I said, well, right here, we're going to have all the seats right here. And they were like, yeah, Pastor. I said, and then the stage, at first I said, the stage will be there, and so, but it would probably be better here. I said, well, okay, we'll do it right here. The stage is going to be right here. And we're going to have beautiful carpeted floor. It's going to be painted. Man, it's going to be, it's going to be everything that this community wanted. But it took time. We went in here for a number of years to where we had 2 ACs, 2 working ACs. Man, I told people, hey, could y'all bring a fan from home? Could you bring so we had probably 5 box fans set up. We had fans up here. So we had our fans. That was kind of the first year. We struggled through it, but we made it. I tell you this, now, how did we get that first seed money to be able to come in here? Y'all knew we're working off of the offerings, the tithes of a small group of people. But you know what happened? The community started to get with the program. Because ever since, even when we came in this building, and we didn't have chairs, we didn't have a sound system, we didn't have a lot of stuff. But the thing that we set up to do, I said, we must feed people, we must take care of the community. So we started, getting up grocery bags together. Sometimes tell people like, hey, well, let's see if we can get food together. Hey, well, maybe they got something for sale at the store that's cheap. We can buy a bunch of that, and we'll give it to the people. And we did kind of like a ragtag thing like that. But you know what? It got the attention of the right people. I'll tell you what happened. We were coming down to we're in the 2-week window when he wanted the money for this bill, $6,000. We had never raised that type of money before. But the people that we left the hotel for were the homeless people that brought the carts and cluttered their parking lot up with these carts. But it's funny how God works. That those were a lot of the very people. They would come in here some days, I'd just be in here, because as a brand new pastor, I didn't know what to do in the daytime. I just come down to church, I just sit there. And people would come in and they would talk to me and I just kind of offered free counsel for people, and they would come in and just sit with them, talk about, hey, what's the problems with the community? What's going on within your life? So anyway, what happened was those people that pushed the carts, they got behind me. Amen. They got behind me. There wasn't a lot of the residents and the homeowners, it was them. And what they would do is, we'd be up here and say, hey, knock on the door. And I'd go and open the door and say, hey, Pastor, I went and sold my cans. Here's $5.82 towards the building. Use that for the building. Then, it would be different ones. And then, we had like 20 people that came. Like, hey, here, take this. And then one of the stigmas about this community, all these women working the streets and stuff, and they're all in the parking lot. When we had our Thursday night service, I lost people behind this. They say, hey, you need to have a backbone and go talk to them and get them out of the lot. And Pastor, I know someone down at the police station that will get them off of the property. Lord didn't tell me to do that. He didn't tell me to do that. I said, you know what? Hey, you got to bear with me because I do have a plan. But I don't think we should go out there and be calling the police and go run them off the property. Well, why not? I said, they were here first. So they were here first. I said, so what we got to do is we have to be gentle with that situation. And what the church went through was an education on it. A lot of times, we think certain things about people because we don't know them. Right. And I was like, no, I've gotten to know a lot of the ladies that work out here. So a lot of them are very good people. A lot of them have a very strong addiction. And that addiction puts them in that situation. I don't think we should run them off. I don't think we should get them arrested. So that stance, it lost a pretty good chunk of the church. And this was a chunk of the church that was paying pretty good money. We had a family that had adult kids, and everybody was tithing. I knew what their tithe was to the penny. I was like, okay, this is, I got to have them here at the church. If I don't know if we're going to be able to make it. And their family, they walked out. They're like, nah, we'll find someplace else to go. This ain't right. You need to stand up to these people because what they're doing, it's embarrassing to the church. I just didn't see it that way. So we kept having church. Well, I tell you, now we're a week out. Do we have to pay up or we got to get out? And that's when everything that we had invested in those ladies started coming back to us in spades. Because I'd be here in the church, or I'd be walking in my car, baby! Turn around, hey, come here. And they would reach down in their bosom and take some. Hey, you're doing the right thing. Keep doing what you're doing. Word got on the street that we were going to close if something didn't happen. So they started coming through. We'd be out here at night. Here, take this. Put it in for your church. So I can't never forget the streets. Because they were the ones that got accepted. We got acceptance from the very first. So the ups and the downs of the church. People coming, people going. People giving, people not giving. God has always taken care of the streets of Destiny Church. In the first year, my wife and I, we had a savings account we've been saving up and stuff. We went through that probably the first 9 months of the church. Didn't have savings account was gone. Then we did some moves and took some risk, and it didn't work out, but we just knew that we kept doing what God wanted us to do, that He would bless us. So I stand before you today, 12 years later.
Woo! Hallelujah.
All types of people came out here. People said, "Hey, well, what kind of church are you going to be?" I said, "We're going to be a Christian church." I said, "No, you know what I mean. What kind of people are you going to have?" I was like, man, I ain't turning nobody away.